How do you do? I'm very happy to have this personal visit with you. Won't you be seated, please? And now, may I request that you forget all your problems and just relax?
Sounds like today, we'll be talking about the popular con man, whom you've probably never heard of, Napoleon Hill. Not the king whom you call great, but this Napoleon took birth to a poor family in the rural area of Virginia during the end of the 19th century, and it was he who finally came up with one of the bestseller self-help books of the next century called Think and Grow Rich. Well, the revolution that this Napoleon facilitated was how to become rich, literally. According to sources, people consider him to be the one to discover the genre. However, do you know about his malpractices implemented in business, or about his junky personal life? Sounds fascinating, right? Watch this video till the end to get the answers to all of your questions. In today's video, we'll be digging into the history of Napoleon Hill, who is said to be the head of the self-help genre. How many of you are excited? Well, without further ado, let's get started. Keith Raniere, a cult of that time, gained recognition during the end of the 1930s to develop an immortal baby. Can you imagine raising an immortal baby? Surely it sounds surprising to me. Even those who are well aware of the story of the immortal baby gene might not be informed that the prisoner was motivated by none other than Napoleon Hill, implementing his most popular work as the principle for the activity. Wait, the interesting part is still left. The tale only gets bizarre from here. Modern readers certainly know the sensation of the year 2006, The Secret, but that's not an original. Followers of Hill consider it to be plagiarized content copied from Hill's 1937 classic Think and Grow Rich, and it has sold over 16 million copies today. The core idea in both of the books was, the material universe is governed quite directly by our thoughts. If you simply visualize what you want out of life, those things and more will be delivered to you, especially if those things involve money. Early life. Oliver Napoleon Hill took birth in the year 1883 to James Hill, who practiced as an unlicensed dentist and rarely a moonshiner, and to his mother Sarah. Napoleon was in love with his first name and would constantly use it until 1908, although he was called Nap by his loved ones. Hill's childhood was not that of a happy child, rather it was filled with anger, frustration, and solitude. Losing a mother is not an easy matter to deal with. He resorted to solitude after losing his mother to a dreadful illness at just the age of 9. His father remarries a woman called Martha, a year after his mother's demise, who, according to him, kept notorious Nap under check. He was not one to sit still. He would often get into problems due to a pistol he would have with him in the backwoods of Virginia. Yes, you heard that right. It was a pistol in the mere hands of a 12-year-old. But Martha was not what you would call a typical stepmother. She was different. It was because of her that Hill could continue his studies, moreover his writing. She even gifted Hill with a typewriter in the year 1895. If you become as good with a typewriter as you are with that gun, Hill later remembered his stepmother saying, you may become rich and famous and known throughout the world. Listening to his stepmother, Napoleon used to send his writings for a small weekly newsletter, and a time or two his stories were selected by small newspaper houses in Virginia. His interest in storytelling and treachery defines the whole life of Hill, a man who took the help of fakery to get through his life. Well based on his childhood, it's pretty evident that sometimes, perhaps later in his life, he would be accused under blue sky laws, which are nothing but anti-fraud regulations. We are certain that the followers of Hill are well known for his polygamous relationships. According to sources, it's said that he got married at least 5 times, in which the first 2 marriages were not registered officially. We are well informed of Hill's notorious deeds in the first section of the video, but who would have thought that 15-year-old Nap would get a girl pregnant, and hence happened his first marriage at just the age of 15? After going through the officially written biography of Napoleon Hill, we get to know about his first marriage, which happened because allegedly the girl's dad furiously told him that the kids should be tied in the rituals of marriage. But the marriage did not last long, as the bride reportedly confessed that Napoleon was not the father. The marriage was called void, but one thing remained unclear to everyone as to why a small girl would say that a 15-year-old was the father of her child when this was not true. Not a cent was missing. Young Napoleon had graduated from high school at the age of 17 and moved to Tazewell in Virginia to get enrolled in a business school. In the year 1901, Napoleon joined work under Rufus Aries, a coal magnate, a businessman, and lastly, the former Attorney General of Virginia. Aries was said to be impressed by Hill, who, based on the official biography, compensated for his youth and 5'6" stature by adopting the appearance of a serious young executive. Ramrod straight posture, impeccable double-breasted suits, immaculately pressed white shirts, conservative bow ties, and white handkerchiefs neatly posed in the breast pocket. Hill got promoted to the post of clerk just after working for 6 months with Aries. He grabbed the position of clerk in one of the coal mines owned by Aries situated in Richlands, Virginia. It was at this time that people started to hear about how honest of a man Hill was. He never touched a single penny that was not earned by him. However, it sounded like nothing but a man who was too proud of his ethics and moral values. Now let's hear a story about Hill. Once, Aries' bank cashier went on a drinking spree on the weekend. He got so drunk at some kind of hotel that the cashier suddenly dropped a gun, discharged it, and allegedly shot a black bellboy. As soon as Hill heard about the matter, he ran to the scene and started interviewing the only eyewitness. Further, we get to hear that Hill also checked on the cashier as to which bank he worked. The cashier was so irresponsible that he left everything unlocked and the vault as well. Hill exaggerated the scene. The money scattered around as if a cyclone had hit. Napoleon contacted Aries to inform him about the scandalous incident that had happened, and surprisingly enough, despite money being scattered in the whole room, nothing was stolen. Based on Hill's statement, he faithfully counted the money, balanced the books, and discovered that not a cent was missing. I could have appropriated $15,000 to $20,000, or perhaps more, without the slightest indication that I had taken the money, Hill reportedly mentioned in his unpublished autobiography. Think and Grow Rich. Hill was left with zero money after he got divorced from his wife, Florence. He was deprived of money from his ex-wife's family, which set him on a desperate search for a companion. In Knoxville, Tennessee, while delivering a speech in the year 1936, he openly announced that he was desperately in search of his so-called dream girl. There was a woman in the audience named Rosa Lee Beeland, who was very much delighted at the chance to have a personal interaction after the lecture. As they could not get enough time to have a decent conversation, they went on a date the next day. When I arrived, he met me at the elevator, escorted me to his study, and without inviting me to be seated, started immediately to tell me his story. Beeland would write later, "We talked for more than 5 hours. We compared notes and spoke very plainly and frankly." Beeland would mention, "Before I left, we were engaged. Then we were married." In less than 48 hours, the 53-year-old Napoleon and the 29-year-old Rosa Lee had already rung their wedding bells. This was the time when the couple started their work on their most popular book, Think and Grow Rich. They didn't have a proper place to live, so Napoleon resorted to one of his ex-wives for shelter. Some sources say that Mrs. Hill, that is, Rosa Lee, was a hard-working and supportive wife. She would put all her efforts into converting her husband's thoughts into sentences. She would work from morning to night just to make Hill's manuscript presentable, and after rewriting the script 3 times, it was finally ready to be published. Mr. Publisher thought that the book would not have much impact on the audience, especially during the Great Depression, when Americans barely had the money for food. But shockingly enough, when the book got published in 1937, it found an enormous audience waiting to grab their copies. So, with this, we've come to the very end of the video. Through this video, we can realize that along with hard work, having a good life partner can take you to the zenith of success. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, press the bell icon for fresh updates. Thanks for watching.